They erased names, rewrote history, divided families, poisoned communities, and sold lies as freedom, Black America. How many generations must disappear before we finally wake up?
They told us entertainment was enough. They told us surviving was winning.
Meanwhile, schools decline.
Community suffered, and another generation grew up disconnected from history. Black America.
Wake up before they bury another generation.
Teach the children truth before the system shapes them.
Learn the history they tried to erase from education. Build unity,
Build ownership,
build ownership.
build stronger foundations.
Black America,
Wake up,
before they bury.
another generation.
They took Africans from kingdoms and villages, packed them inside slave ships, chained them for months across the Atlantic Ocean. Millions died before even reaching American soil. Families were separated forever. Children were sold away from mothers. Men were beaten for reading books. Women were assaulted without justice. Slave owners built wealth from free labor, while black bodies were treated like property under American law. After slavery ended in 1865, freedom still did not arrive. Equally, Black Americans faced black codes, lynching, segregation, and Jim Crow laws. Schools were separated, neighborhoods were separated, hospitals were separated, voting rights were blocked through intimidation. Literacy tests and violence, entire black towns were burned to the ground, like Tulsa in 1921, where successful black businesses were destroyed by racist mobs. The government created redlining policies that denied black families home loans and wealth building opportunities. Highways were built through black neighborhoods. Factories left cities, and unemployment rose. Drugs flooded communities during the crack epidemic, while prisons expanded across America. Sentences for crack cocaine were far harsher than powder cocaine, even though both were forms of the same drug. Millions of black men disappeared into prisons, while families struggled without fathers and sons.
They told us entertainment was enough. They told us surviving was winning.
Meanwhile, schools decline.
Community suffered, and another generation grew up disconnected from history. Black America.
Wake up before they bury another generation.
Teach the children truth before the system shapes them.
Learn the history they tried to erase from education. Build unity,
Build ownership,
build ownership.
build stronger foundations.
Black America,
Wake up before they bury another generation.
The civil rights movement brought change through sacrifice. People marched, protested, and died, demanding equal treatment under the law. Leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and many others spoke about education, economics, and self-respect. Yet decades later, many black communities still face underfunded schools, police violence, poverty, health disparities, and limited access to opportunity. Social media spreads distractions faster than knowledge. Music corporations profit from promoting violence, division, and destruction, while ownership stays in the hands of executives far away from the neighborhoods affected by the messages. Black consumers spend billions every year, yet much of that money leaves the community instead of circulating to create businesses, jobs, and property ownership. History is often shortened inside classrooms. Many students learn little about African civilizations, invented scientists, or economic achievements. Some grow up believing slavery is the beginning of black history, instead of understanding the depth of African cultures before colonization. Without knowledge of history, many young people lose identity, direction, and confidence.
Communities cannot survive without fathers present, mothers supported, children educated, and neighbors united. Political promises alone
will not save future generations. Real change requires discipline,
Financial literacy,
education,
land.
ownership, voting awareness, and community organization.
Wake up now,
Study the past now,
protect the youth now,
build the future now.
before another generation.
Disappears in the prisons.
Poverty, violence, and hopelessness.
Every generation receives a warning.
Yeah,
Every generation faces a choice.
yeah.
Remain divided and distracted, or rebuild families, knowledge.
And economic strength together.
Black America.
The future depends on what happens now.
History already showed the consequences of silence.
Division and ignorance.
The next generation is watching and waiting for leadership.
Welcome to the live stream. My name is Rig, aka U.S. Army Overlord, aka Union Gang. We are at the Antifa War Room, back at it again, multi-streaming. We're gonna be talking about the rule of law tonight, and like who is really this law is for. Because you know, America, one thing that America does well is motherfucking hypocrisy. They've always tried to say themselves they're a nation of laws, but we already knew. Black people been knowing it's a two-tier justice system, but you need to look and see just how far this system goes to allow rich demons to do what the fuck they want. The hypocrisy is astounding. You guys remember Josh Hardie, Senator Josh Hardie, the guy who was out here January 6th pumping his fist and shit, and then he ran like a little bitch when everything kicked off. Well, I guess now he's on his Jim Crow Jesus Christian nationalist shit. So I'll let you hear a clip of that.
And I believe we're at a time in our nation's history, where the Spirit of God is being poured out again to reclaim the lordship of Christ over every aspect of our society, over government, over education, over the workplace, over industry, over our families, over commerce. For too long, believers have been content to shut the Lord up inside churches, and the Lord is saying, no, I want to go out into the nation. I want to go out and proclaim my lordship. I want to pour my Spirit out over this country. I believe that's the time we're in. I believe there's an anointing on this generation, the generation of every man who's here tonight, to go and take ground for the Lord.
So who was anointed? Fat ass Trump in the White House? He's a Christian? He's your Christian guy that y'all serving? The Republican Party is a party of pedophiles and criminals. And all this Jim Crow Jesus shit is just cover for that. These fake ass Christians be the main ones. Listen, it was these wholesome ass Christians that took their children down there to watch us be lynched. These wholesome ass Christians that fed black children to alligators. These Christian white males raped black women in these plantations for years, and then lied and told us it was God's will for us to be enslaved. So forgive me if I'm out of fucks to give about Jim Crow Jesus. I don't give a flying fuck about Jim Crow Jesus. If it was up to me, I will ban that shit for the next 100 years. Religion is the biggest scam ever perpetuated on the human race. And I will die on that fucking hill. It is the biggest scam. It has cost the most pain and suffering to humanity. On utter bullshit. Shit they cannot prove. And they weaponize that shit. They weaponize that shit for people's power. You think any of these demons are holy? They're the farthest thing from it. These motherfuckers are more close to Antichrist than anything Christ-like. America is in a complete fucking free fall, not even being recognized as a full democracy anymore. We're not even considered a liberal democracy. And you got this idiot out here who supported J6, who wanted to overturn the will of the American people, trying to preach to us, man, we don't give a fuck. So we're going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about the views of the military. Matter of fact, I'm glad you said that, because I got a video coming up here about the what's happening on the USS Lincoln, that Nimitz class aircraft destroyer or aircraft carrier. My bad. But I got some pretty sharp views about the military. Considering most of the military voted for Trump, you in that find out stage, right? You're in that find out stage. We warned you. I don't know who could still honor their oath and honor Trump. You can't. You can't follow the Constitution and follow Trump because Trump doesn't follow the Constitution. He has always been a criminal. Trump has always been who he is. But as much smoke as I got for Trump, it's bigger than that. It's about the system that let a man like Trump exist in the first place. To let somebody be absolutely above the law. Do what the fuck they want to. Complete idiot who falls asleep, farts himself awake in a national state. And we're supposed to accept this shit as meritocracy. We're supposed to accept this shit as that these are the best white people that can run the country. It's a crying shame that, and this is really going to be the demise of America. It's damn sure not going to be black or immigrants that bring the country down. It's going to be weak ass white men, lying ass white men, the worst of white men. That's what Trump really represents. The billionaire class. All this shit was talked about in Project 2025. They want to blend the stuff. Even the fucking slave and forefathers knew the importance of having a separation between church and state, because you don't want religious zealots in power. But God's will ain't none of this shit. That's one thing I can tell you, that God ain't got nothing to do with what's happening in that White House or what's happening at the Supreme Court. This is good old-fashioned corruption. American corruption. White rich men corrupting the fucking system and lining their fucking pockets. And they ain't got shit to do with religion. But I will also say that shit needs to be put on the shelf for a while. I'm so tired of hearing about Jim Crow Jesus. There's nothing you can tell me about the Bible I haven't read for myself and seen out here. I am over that shit. Have some damn imagination, man. Gene Roddenberry did more for the world with fucking Star Trek than religion. I stand on that hill, man. If I gotta believe in something, I believe in fucking aliens and warp drive and the Federation before I waste any more time on some tired ass mixture of Christianity and pagan shit. I'm tired of that shit. I was indoctrinated in that shit in a good portion of my life. Believe that bullshit. And now I'm over it. Thank God I'm a heathen. I'm over that shit, man. It's really a damn shame. What we got to do is look into the systems in this country and see the corruption and see the rot in the system. The system is rotting right now because you got so many weak, unqualified people in there. All this shit, man, all these lapdogs for Israel right now coming out against my man. I'm gonna be talking about that heavily. So I don't know, man. I don't know if we can restructure any of this shit, but I know one thing: we have to clean house. We have to clean house. There could be no more coming together. There could be no more high road until these demons are gone. The standard is abolish ICE, tax the fucking churches, eat the rich, abolish this whole prison system, get rid of the slave catchers, reform that shit. We cannot continue this with the way we're going because this capitalist system, this really is an oligarchy right now that we're in because we're being run by a few people, right? A few rich ass billionaires running everything, corrupting everything. So that's the problem, right? That's the problem. We're gonna have to, because look at this shit they got going on out here with these fake ass Christians. You think Josh Hawley is a Christian? These people are so damn performative, man. They're so performative. But anywho, speaking of Israel, let's talk a little bit about that nonsense. Some Israelis failed Mossad missions.
In 1954, Israel carried out a plan to recruit local Jews in Egypt to bomb Egyptian, American, and British-owned buildings. And those terror attacks would be blamed on the Muslim Brotherhood and Egyptian communists so they can trick the British and the United States into an armed conflict over the Suez Canal. This false flag operation was codenamed Operation Susanna. After 2 U.S. libraries, a post office, and 2 theaters were blown up, the operation unraveled when one of the bombs prematurely blew up in one of the operatives' pockets outside of the 3rd theater they were about to bomb. The failure of the operation resulted in the arrest of 11 operatives and became known as the Lavon Affair, after the defense minister of Israel, who had to resign. Israel denied involvement in the incident until March 2005, when the surviving agents were awarded certificates of appreciation by the Israeli president, Moshe Katsav. Also, they were granted formal military ranks in the IDF. They literally got awarded for bombing U.S. buildings. Truly the United States' greatest ally.
Hey, dripping, right? Dripping with fucking sarcasm. But we have been bootlicking for Israel for quite some time. I'm going to show you some more clips, man. As a matter of fact, I got a whole, if we got time, I may get into a legacy of Ash. This is really like the entire failures and stuff with the CIA. It's like a 12-minute clip, but right now, I'm going to push that towards the end. We may jump in there afterwards. But let's get into this, man, and really talk about what's happening. Somebody asked a question about how I feel about the military. I think it's impossible to honor your oath and follow Trump at this point. And we warned you. We warned you after really, I don't understand why anybody in uniform would ever fuck with Trump, let alone vote for him after January 6th. I quit fucking with Trump after John McCain. I knew he wasn't shit then when he talked about John McCain. But they overlook so much because there's a lot of fucked up people in the military, in case you don't know that. There's a lot of people in the military that are, the military is a segment of society. You got honorable people, doctors, lawyers, you got gangsters, rapists, white supremacists, and droves in the military. Because whatever you have in our society, that's what makes up the military. Now, the military is supposed to be this apolitical machine that, takes people from all walks of life and transform you into, soldiers that are for the code, and we follow the Constitution and we follow the rule of law and blah, 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 and blah, 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 and all that bullshit. That shit don't matter. It's about the people who are over you. If the people are over you or corrupt, your life is hell because they have power over you. And so the military is always trying to portray itself as apolitical, but clearly it's not. Look how much Trump has been able to do. Look at all this shit, right? Look at all that shit. Yeah, I wasn't fucking with him. Even when he talks about Obama, I wasn't fucking with Trump. I was never fucking with Trump. Was never qualified to run for office. But because America loves those white supremacist lies, they do this. And the media is also complicit in this shit. They have helped Trump time and time again to get elected, defending his ass, because the media is controlled by right-wing billionaires. And that's showing you right now. Fox News and Fox fake-ass news, really. And OAN and Newsmax and Sinclair. Even CNN is right-wing. There is no left-leaning. They got like a couple of voices on MSNBC. Right, the guy that comes on late night and Rachel Maddow. That's pretty much, that's it. Far and few between. So the most of the media is pushing that bullshit. And I'm going to show you some clips from that as well. But let's talk about what happens. We warned you what Trump would do in the second term. They laid it out in Project 2025. And damn well he doesn't give a fuck about soldiers. But now they're in the find out mode, right? You fucked around, military. The military supported him. Many veterans supported him. The majority of the military voted for Trump. So now you get your ass out here in these wars and dying for Israel. Now you stuck out here in these aircraft carriers. They don't give a fuck about you. They're leaving you out here miserable to sit in your own shit and eat nasty ass gruel. Because that's how that shit's going right now. elections have consequences. And when you elect ignorant, dumbass people who want to be dictators, then you get that. Case in point.
You guys, there's a mental health crisis happening aboard the USS Lincoln in the Middle East that no one is talking about, and mainly because the Navy's pretty much quashing it. You will read online about food shortages, supply shortages, poor morale among crew members. That's because they've been at sea continuously for 250 days. They've been deployed a total of 271 days, 250 without a port of call. That's unheard of. Normally, they will go to port every 3 to 6 weeks. They have not been to port in 38 weeks. Keep in mind, there are 52 weeks in a year. And yes, the showers are moldy. They're eating basically like a gruel kind of slop at this point. There's no deodorant. There's no toothpaste. My nephew has a friend on board there, and I was basically hearing updates last week when I was in the States in real time. They're not talking about the mental health crisis. 6 people have tried to jump off that ship. The most recent was last Monday.
So, for emphasis, he said that 6 sailors tried to jump off that ship. You know how bad shit is if sailors are jumping in the fucking ocean and risking death to stay on that shit? I told you, man, I don't know what the fuck. Why are you still following weak ass leadership? Why the fuck are you still listening to Pete Whiskey Leaks XF? You go let your sailors fucking commit suicide trying to dip up out of here? So it's showing you how bad this shit's happened in the military, man.
You know, when you have not touched land in 38 weeks, in over 200 days, things start to happen to you mentally. You know, combine that with exhaustion and deadly mistakes start to happen. So, you know, this is how the Department of War, this is how Donald Trump treats our servicemen and women whose lives are already being put in harm's way for a bullshit war of aggression that was supposed to be over in a matter of weeks. We are further putting their lives at risk out of sheer ineptitude and neglect. It defies logic, it defies reason, and it defies basic fucking humanity.
I did videos, right? I did videos back on the shortages months ago, and the right wing was talking shit. They didn't believe. I was like, dude, you ain't got to believe me. I did a follow-up video and showed you there was actually Marines, family members, had sent packages, and the packages never got there. One family sent like $2,000 worth of care packages, and the ship never seen any of it. Mind you, we wasn't even at war. We're not at war right now, guys. Not technically, but they just doing shit. These ships are breaking records how long they're at sea right now. And they're not getting the supplies and resources that they need to function because they don't give a fuck. You are expendable. You've always been expendable in a uniform. Understand that. Now you just got people who don't give a fuck about you. Now you got people in the Oval Office and in the leadership in the country who don't give a fuck about you. While you out here dying for Israel and starving for Israel and sitting in here and until your ship becomes a fucking tomb. How bad this shit gotta be to be out there that long, not even having a port call? That's crazy work. Listen, soldiers be out there on them year missions, not no tight ass aircraft carrier where you ain't got no room to breathe in that bitch. All that space is for missiles and equipment and the aircraft. Humans are very much on the last of that list. Even senior non-commissioned officer in fucking little matchbox, I could never live like that. Now imagine staying in that bitch for damn near a year. People be down there not even seeing the sunlight in some of the positions. They don't even come up and see the sun. So imagine being below decks for damn near a year. For what? For an incompetent ass dude who falls asleep and farts? Who went to war because Israel was getting better coverage on Fox News? This is the man that you go lay your life down for? Once again, you can't follow the Constitution and Trump because that bitch don't follow the Constitution. And so it's hard choices. They want to blame sailors and saying they're clogging up ships. Them ships were not designed to be out that long. But once again, man, America fails. This shit is not just in the military. I can tell you it's happening throughout the entire federal government. When you cut and fire so many people, and that's just it. Shit don't stop working. You can tell yourself whatever lie you want to tell yourself. The government already was stretched thin in the best of times. You're doing the jobs of 2 and 3 people. Now, shit just don't get done. Now you go have backlogs of shit. And then just bullshit the reports and tell people whatever they want to hear. And the people will sit back here and the good idea fairies just sit there and take over. And that's the reality of the situation. But America is fucking declining. The military is declining. The federal government is fucking declining. It's on fire in that bitch. Good people are leaving. Scientists, the brain drain is happening. You got fucking morons running the country. And so you don't have respect. Who will listen to the CDC with fucking RFK anti-vaccine ass in there? His brain worm voted for Kamala. So nobody is taking this shit seriously. And so this is how you have mutinies. This is how you have other shit to kick off, man. So we'll see how dark things get. But the military can do a great job at suppressing information. But sooner or later, it's just going to get out. We knew. And you got whiskey leaks out in this bitch, splurging on crab, blowing the budget, right? Blowing the budget up at the end of the year. Got to spend all this money. Instead of just saying, you know what? We're going to put this back. So they don't give a fuck about you. You think I'm going to let my son join the military? Fuck no. I'd rather be the world's best bank robber. I would never let my son put a fucking uniform on to follow this fuck shit. Keep that shit. Let Don Jr. go sign his ass up. Everybody who talking all this Christian nationalist shit, send your kids to go die for Israel. Put your kids out there. Fuck that. Hey, black people, we need to be fuck that. Black people say fuck the military right now. Don't send your kids to go die on that bullshit. Not for no incompetent ass leaders. Shit. Fuck that. My sons are staying right here in this bitch. That's all right. They can take their ass to school and go be like, do firemen, do some shit like that. Fuck that military shit. And as you can see, I dedicated my life to that military shit. But I'm not going to be nobody's fool. Because one thing I knew that I fucking climbed up the ladder, man, it was corrupt even then. All this propaganda, man. It's a lot of fucking propaganda, man. It's a propaganda. I joined the military not because I was a patriot. I didn't want to die in the hood, in the streets. My mom kicked me out the house. Shit, dad died in prison. So that was it. For me, I wasn't going to be living with my fucking sister. I stayed with her for a month, and I said, enough of this shit. I took my ass down to the recruiting station, and I left. And I never looked back. And I would do it again if I had to. But I wouldn't serve under this shit. Because these guys will get you killed. The military, man, is not for the faint of heart. But you damn sure can't be out here with incompetent fools, man. They don't get better. If you got a motherfucking moron, right? Hey, if you got a moron in the rear, they're going to be a moron when they go forward deploy. There is no universe where Pete WikiLeaks Hegseth was qualified to be the Secretary of Defense. None. There was no fucking universe where he was qualified to do any of that shit. A fucking rapist, dude. You got a Fox News host rapist, and you made his ass the Secretary of Defense, and you wonder why he changed that shit to the Secretary of War Crimes? You wonder why they blowing up fucking ships, killing off innocent fishermen? Got Navy SEALs out here acting like fucking Somali pirates, stealing oil tankers and shit. Flying fucking Apaches over Kid Rock House. Fuck out of here, man. It's a fucking joke. It's a joke. There is no good order and discipline in the military. When you got criminals running that shit, how you supposed to salute Donald Trump and he a fucking criminal who can't stand your ass, calls you suckers and losers, showing you suckers and losers? And for what? all that imperialist shit we did, all these fucking wars, they still racist as fuck. One black man got the Medal of Honor. In a 20-year fucking war, one black man got the Medal of Honor. One. Should have been got that shit. It took him like 17 fucking years. I completed my whole career. Retired and every goddamn thing before he got that shit. We all knew what happened to Sergeant Cash, man. We always talk about that shit. Because they full of shit. These people lie, man. They lie. They lied about the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. They lied about the reasons going to war. They're lying now. Iran is a lose, lose, lose fucking situation for us. There is no scenario where America wins the war in Iran. It is a waste of our treasure, and more importantly, it's a waste of people's lives. Good people losing their lives for fucking people who don't give a fuck about you. And so this is where we are, man. This is the painful shit of it. You got criminals in here. They talk about the rule of law, man. For who though? Who is the rule of law for when you got criminals in this bitch? Straight on some, listen, it's not even GTA. This is some Saints Row shit. For the gamers, you know who I'm talking about. Saints Row, the episode where they had fucking the gangsters took over the White House. At least they was fighting aliens and shit. You got this fat ass gangster here right now just banging for the Republican Party. They banging for the fucking Confederacy. They renaming bases after fucking Confederacy, trying to bring them losers back. Because America has never settled that war with the Confederacy. And that's why we're back here rounding that shit again. That's why you got these weak ass white men talking about Jim Crow Jesus. They would not know Jesus Christ if he walked past them. In fact, they would try to arrest his ass and have him thrown into an ICE detention cell. They don't give a fuck about brown people. America's so racist, they had to change Jesus to white because they didn't want to worship anybody being black. Why do you think they made the Mormons? Right? They had to have an American Christian system. Fuck out of here with that shit, man. Nobody had time for that bullshit. If I wanted to create a religion, I could do far better than this shit. I just choose not to. There's far better religions you can make besides this tired ass shit. It's tiring, man. It's tiring. The religion is tiring. This white supremacist bullshit is tiring. Because you got fools running the country now. Fucking fools. That's where we are. Anyway, let's get it.
Republicans are very performative, specifically in this moment, right? Like a lot of them don't like Donald Trump, but they too afraid to say so. So, you know, in general, they're just like, I got to do what I got to do to stay in this seat and to keep my family away from all the minions that may come after them if I go against Trump.
Right. Mitch McConnell, dead or alive, or somewhere in between. We're just going to play this game.
So my theory is that, like, maybe even half of the Senate is already dead anyway. I'm just saying. Okay. I mean, when you think about, like, they are old, like old.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Like old.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, so,
decrepit.
Yeah. So I wonder. I'd be like, what y'all doing over on that side? You know what I mean? So I'm not. Yeah. So I'm going with dead.
Okay. All right. Will you investigate Trump's wig?
All I know is I got some people that can hook him up. I do, right? You mentioned the Real Housewives.
Yeah.
You know, Jacorian, who hooks me up. I mean, he hooks up the Real Housewives. I mean, listen, I got you, boo.
Okay. Now, you worked as a criminal defense attorney.
Yes.
Have you met more crooks in that job or more crooks in Congress?
Definitely
Be
Congress.
honest.
Definitely Congress.
Okay.
Like, no question about it.
Really?
Yes. And I've dealt with, like, murderers, you know, child rapists, and clearly we got a lot. We got a lot of them. Got a lot of them in the Congress. You know,
This is gonna be my 25th and final casting show.
No, I mean, even when you think about Ohio and like Max Miller, like
Yeah.
feeding kids,
Yeah.
allegedly, let me put the allegedly on there, y'all. I mean, like, there's a lot going on, like putting water on his. He was doing a lot. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of nonsense that's popping off in the Congress.
Worse for the country? FBI Director Kash Patel or Attorney General Todd Blanche, and why?
Why can't I say both?
Oh, okay. You can. You can.
Listen.
It's your game.
So Cash is just like trying to get him a boo. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Like, have y'all heard about him like spending money fast? Like he just trying to, hook up his little girlfriend or whatever. And if he got one for real, I don't know. But Toddy Boy, right? He sat in confirmation hearings and was like, I'm Trump's personal attorney. Sir, that's not the job.
Right.
Okay, because we know that Trump's personal attorneys, well, they never get paid. Mm-hmm. This is a paid job.
Okay. Oh, wow.
So,
Never looked at it. Never looked at it that way.
Just saying.
Jasmine Crockett is fucking brilliant. She represents the best of us. And remember, the only reason she lost her position is because corrupt ass Abbott down there destroyed her district. And they destroyed Al Green's district. That's it. That's the corruption. She's the best damn thing to come out of Texas. Flat out. And she spoke the truth. Right? They are corrupt in Congress. See, you can't be a nation of laws if their top people can be lawless. How do you come back from that? How do you come back from a man who stole $10 billion? Or so what's the new standard now? How do you come back from a Supreme Court where Harlan Crow is buying your mama house and putting your kids through school and giving you lavish ass gifts? How do you come back from that? And your ass is bought and paid for. The corruption is ridiculous. And so people are laying down their lives for people who are fucking criminals. Pedophiles all day, man. That's who they are. And the Epstein files show all of that. Donald Trump is named more in those files than Jesus Christ is in the Bible. But y'all still believe that this man is not a criminal. And he hasn't done horrible shit to children. He's done horrible shit to everybody. That's who he is. That's who he always been. So we have got to really rally around people politically who is going to be on fire, who are going to be energetic. We have to push the moderate Democrats out of power. I'm saying it again, the moderates, the ones who say they're moderate, the ones who still trying to work with corruption. Get their ass up out of there too. We need to try to get, first of all, for me, they got to be pro-black. I want pro-black candidates. But I'll settle for progressives if they come in with the right knowledge. And they understand this racism shit is not just a flavor of the month. It is built into the system of white supremacy. America is founded on white supremacy. It's oozing through the veins. There is a profession in this country where you don't face racism and ridicule. That's just the facts. It's not a place in this country where you don't see mediocre ass deadbeats fuck up and move up all day. Trump being president is a hit on the system itself because far worse will come. But let's talk about the man. They got his name in his mouth so much. And I'm going to tell you, the more clips I see from this man, the more I fucking love this dude.
The issue that we have right now is that we don't have a real system of capitalism. What we have is corporate oligopoly masquerading as capitalism. So, for example, when you go shopping and you want to buy a pound of meat, there are 4 meat packers who pack that meat and account for about 70% of the entire market share. And all they do is use algorithms to just systematically inflate the price of a pound of meat, which means that you don't have other options. You want to go see a show? It's Ticketmaster. You want to go on a flight? You have one of 3, 4, maybe 5 airlines who buy planes from one of 2 manufacturers.
Shit, didn't Spirit just go fucking bankrupt? Right, so that's what they're doing, man. They're creating monopolies everywhere. They're merging all this shit so they can control everything.
Think about the thing you probably touch the most in your pocket, your phone. There are probably 2 phones that account for 90% of the phones, iPhones or Samsung. and on 3 carriers. And all of them are using algorithms to raise prices. So we need to bust up monopolies, and the way to do that is to actually empower the Federal Trade Commission to actually enforce the laws on the books and then take it a step further. I also believe that we need to stand with unions and pass the PRO Act. Why? Unions are the single most important feature to being able to protect broad-scale prosperity and wages for people. And right now, we're watching as union busting is happening in sector after sector after sector, and the American workforce has changed quite a bit. So we need union growth in otherwise non-traditionally union sectors to keep up with it.
This man needs to become senator, period. He needs to be a senator. You need young, intelligent, passionate people he understands. I'm a proud member of a union. And I can tell you my union came under direct attack, man, by the administration. They're doing all this shit. So, yeah, my man, Dr. Yeah, the one who just won down here in Michigan. Yeah. He's the truth. Don't worry, I got a bunch of videos of him. We're gonna be talking about him all tonight. The good doctor. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about him all night, man. Because they have really been on this man. If you let, there you go, Dr. Sayed. Look, the media is already trying to churn out an image of him. Right? You got the buck dancers coming out, you got the fake ass moderates, you got Van Jones, buck dancing ass talking shit. You got Sambo Scott talking shit, the Tunisians. So they're trying to take this man down, but they can't. Because if you see how he's moving, man, he is intelligent, he is fierce, quick wit. Everything about this guy I love. And watch how the fucking media try to trap him. Watch how the media try to trap him. Watch how he responds to that shit.
Are you worried that framing, juxtaposing the Jewish funding for the Jewish state against the needs of, in your own words, our own people, echoes an old anti-Semitic trope?
Let me just be very, very clear. You know who benefits from guaranteed health care in this country? Jewish Americans. The idea that somehow we are going to use the specter of anti-Semitism to defend what a foreign government is doing actually does a deep disservice to the well-being of Jewish Americans in this country. Judaism and the Jewish people are a light unto the world, beautiful faith, beautiful people. The contributions that they've made to this country alone are staggering. And I'm looking forward to standing with the Jewish community against anti-Semitism. After all, anti-Semitism and Islamophobia are one in the same, and we need to take them on. But we cannot sit idly by and ask, why is it that our $3.3 billion a year at baseline is used to fund apartheid at baseline, genocide over the last several years, a war we have no business fighting, with the attempt to annex the southern part of a neighboring country, and then wonder why our kids' schools look like they did 50 years ago? The reality of this is that we cannot
you haven't
continue.
made that same trade-off argument with regards to other items in the U.S.'s $800 billion
I have.
defense
You just
budget.
don't cover it. No, I have. You just don't cover it. I'll say the same thing about the money we send to Egypt, which is where my family comes from. So if you want to go ahead and call me anti-Egyptian, go ahead and do that. But the reality is that on principle, I don't think we should be sending unconditional foreign military aid to any government, because none of us actually pay our tax dollars.
On principle, then, are you against
military.
ethno-religious states writ large?
On principle, I absolutely am.
Were you silent or were you silenced?
Right? He shut her down. Yeah.
The latter.
Shut her down. He shut her down, man. He shut her down. You gotta love that, man. Listen, he is exactly who the fuck we need in the Senate. Once again, the more I watch his takes, he understands. A lot like Mandami, right? He understands. Boots on the ground, grassroots candidate, understands what's happening in the country. But listen, I've saved some of his best fucking takes for last, because they really, like I said, look how the media is still defending Israel. And they wonder why people talk shit about Kamala Harris, man. Like, why would a black candidate come out here and try to come out against Israel when everyone else is falling in line? The media supports Israel. Clearly, genocide is not a deal breaker for them. But for me and for most black people, We warned people what will happen over there. Let life get worse. The Confederacy is the number one threat here. The Confederacy is our number one threat here in the States because that shit's on the rise, and they put these Confederate demons in power. And that's the people we gotta do. We gotta dismantle all this MAGA shit. We gotta get the corrupt and the rich out of power in this country. If we ever want to have a future, that's what we have to do. I'm gonna let you listen to his last take here because this is fucking amazing take. How he talked about this. I really was like, man, that's the fuck I'm talking about. Because they really try to trap you. The media wants you to talk about certain shit. And they try to frame these questions for likes, clicks, and follows. But like I said, he is way too smart for that.
Democrats win in November. How should they treat Donald Trump's presidency? Should they start investigating him? Should they impeach him? Should they try to convict him? Should they go after this administration as furiously as they did the first time around when power changed hands? Should it look different? You tell me.
We have two responsibilities the day I take office in 2027. Number one, put as much sand in the gears into what Donald Trump and his acolytes are doing. And number two, build the conversation with the American public that gets us to the after Trump foundationally. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. We really have to. And I'll tell you this, conservatives, MAGA, like to tell us that the rule of law only means something when you enforce it. So the rule of law only means something when we enforce it. And the man has done way past enough to be enforced upon. The guy was trying to give himself a $1.8 billion Department of Justice trust fund, trying to excuse him and his kids from being investigated by the IRS. If that's not a violation of basic public corruption law and our Constitution itself, I don't know what is. Then there's ICE. Then there's this illegal, unjustifiable war. There is so much that he has done that needs to be held accountable because I worry that the next version of Trump, if we fail to hold this one accountable, will actually
be smart. The last part cut off said be smart. And that's the only saving grace because Trump is a fucking fool that we're not in full-blown fascism. But it's not for lack of trying. So imagine how she said that they went after Trump. They did not go after Trump first. They did not. Where the fuck do you get that lie at? When did the government go after Trump? They treated Trump like a fucking rock star the entire time. They didn't they waited years to even indict his ass after a fucking insurrection in 4K. They didn't do shit. What's his name? Garland was straight trash. They sat on their fucking hands, man, and let Trump run the clock out to run for president. And if you run for president, I guess you're above the law. You can't be tried for crimes. Miss me with that shit, man. Trump ass should have been in prison. Any one of us would have been in prison for the shit he did. So nobody went after him furiously. But that's the press. They always play this shit. The press is the reason Trump is president. Again. They will always been complicit in that shit. Always been complicit in covering up his fuck ups and not talking about that shit and excusing the crimes. A nation of laws, but you got a guy who didn't give a fuck about the law. He was indicted 4 separate occasions. They let them throw out that whole fucking case where he stole all the documents. He stole all the military secrets. From all type of secret programs. And they forgave all that shit and wonder why he's running around here saying he's the most powerful president. Because the corruption is there. So the media can eat a dick, man, for being so corrupt, for playing into this. All they did was cover for his ass, a fake ass assassination. They covered that shit. Van Jones buck dancing ass. Said that COVID stopped Biden, but a bullet couldn't stop Trump. Fuck out of here, man. They just lie and go along with that bullshit, guys. That's why we're in the predicament that we are in. None of them fools should have been running the country. Hey, Capital One had to fucking close his accounts because obvious money laundering. He is a criminal through and through. And no matter how many times you put on that same fucking suit, no matter how many times you paint that fucking face of his to this orangutan ass orange, It's not going to change the fact. Donald Trump is a criminal, convicted of 34 felonies, and he did far more than that. An absolute criminal. And he's still criming. He is still criming out here while he's sleeping and shitting on himself. Still breaking the law daily. And you expect us to sit here and act like that. Listen, if you don't hold him accountable and his acolytes and his family members who stole all that shit, then what are we talking about? Then it's every man for himself. Fuck, we all can go get rich then. We all can go bring this shit down. If you're not gonna hold his ass accountable, what are we talking about? You go listen to whack ass Featherman? Or weak ass fucking Schumer? Send their ass home too. Investigate them. They ass probably corrupt as fuck too. Because corruption is not just a Republican thing. Plenty of fucking Democrats. Look at your boy who got caught with the damn gold bars. He will be accepted as a Republican, by the way. Menendez, he will be accepted as a Republican. All that shit he stole and all that, he'll be just fine as a Republican. They would have took him in with open arms. As long as he voted the way Trump would have voted, they would cover for that shit. At least the Democrats halfway try to, get some of the worst out. Eric Adams, corrupt as fuck. Most of his administration grown up right now. And he was always a fucking cop-loving Republican. Just running as a Democrat because it's convenient. So that is why we got to be vigilant, guys. If it's supposed to go be a nation of laws, then that shit got to be enforced. But you have to come for the system. The system itself is the problem. Because of the system being so corrupt, guys, that's why the danger is someone who is really charismatic will come in there and really just take over. They showed you that there's no guardrails. Where are the guardrails at? The military's out here executing people in the high seas, bombing children and shit, fighting illegal ass wars, being used as stormtroopers inside the United States of America. I just seen them out there in Memphis checking black people ID cards, sweating people at a black club. What the fuck are the National Guard doing out there? Because once again, they want to use the military against citizens. All this shit was in Project 2025. There is no state of emergency in this country, except for a state of emergency for idiots. But they're weaponizing the military in real time in your face. That is what martial law looks like. If a National Guard is asking you for your fucking ID, that is right there, fucking your rights are being taken. That's what they're doing to you. It's martial law. Because ain't no National Guard soldier got no fucking power over you as an American citizen. But you think the Republicans give a fuck about that? They do not. They do not. That's why you got National Guardsmen out there in D.C. That's why you got them out there in Memphis. Playing games, deploying to fucking blue states and stirring shit up. Guardsmen think they can come talk to regular people, sweating other black people about them being armed. Like, dude, you better sit your ass down somewhere. Anybody playing them games with them? So this is crazy. I know I've been seeing, man. If you got a video though, drop it in my Discord, and we'll put it out there. So America likes to say it's a nation of laws, and now they're on my ass because I'm sorry, everything I said was facts. So if they're telling me that it's misinformation, all you gotta do is go look it up. Fact: is the National Guard deployed to damn Memphis, Tennessee? Is the National Guard deployed to Washington, D.C.? Those are facts. There's video evidence of Guard members asking people for their ID. I just watched the video. Out there with the cops, what business does the National Guard have to do at a predominantly black club? Show me in the Constitution where National Guardsmen have the right to ask people for their IDs and go run them, because we already know them niggas are American citizens inside that black club. So why are you there? You there running them? You there to run and see if they got a record? You got them out here on policing action? Because that's what they do. They want to over-police black neighborhoods. But you letting these demons come. You let these demons come up here and break the law. Trump stealing billions of dollars in your face. And they quiet about that shit. But they want to see if you got any warrants. National Guardsmen out here on the streets of Memphis, Tennessee, want to know if you got felonies or charges or fucking warrants against you. And you wonder why I would never let my son join the military. You think I'm going to have my son on some shit like that? It just happened, guys. I'll drop the video tomorrow. I just watched the video not even damn a day ago. I forgot to clip it and put it in here. They asking people at a predominantly black club, talking shit. This is in Memphis. And you look out here, you see a bunch of damn MPs. I'm like, what the fuck jurisdictions does the MP have out here? Remember, the red states let the guards come in. They didn't care. They was cool with it. They cool with the illegal shit. As long as you go hunt them black people down. You're not going to see the motherfuckers at the high-end white places doing this type of shit. Why would you be there doing this? Why? Why would you have the National Guard out here at a black club? So once again, when you talk about shit like black on black crime, ain't nobody killing more people than white people. Right? When you talk about that Chicago shit, red states have the most killers, white men. Who leads in rapes? White men. Who leads in theft? White men. The least educated, white men. The most atrocities committed in America's soil, white men. Wiped out entire fucking black cities. Not one white person held accountable. So who gives a fuck? When you say black on black crime, all you let me know is you racist. Because ain't nobody killing more people than white people. That's just a fact. That's a fact. That's what they've been doing. They still lynching Negroes, right? They still lynching Negroes. Who dropped 2 nukes on society? White people. Motherfucking murder of millions, man. And still got the nerve to call your ass a Christian and clap your hands and say I'm going to heaven. Fuck out of here. If there's a heaven, none of you demons be in there. It may be a whole bunch of black people and Muslims in heaven, but these fake ass Christians, if there's a hell, you're gonna be the first one there. And it's gonna be black demons in charge to torture your ass with the truth. And I volunteer for tribute. But we're not waiting. We're not waiting for none of that. We're gonna get ours right here on Earth One. So when y'all talk about that, every MAGA accusation is a confession. All that shit, man. All that dirt that they've been doing. They've been doing this dirt for a while, man. And I know that they love those lies. That's why y'all listen to Josh Harley like he a fucking preacher. Please, man. They have zero discernment. That's why they think Trump's a Christian. That's why they run around here with Trump tattoo and thigh meat. I'm not surprised they banned Ruby Bridges' account. I'm not surprised about that because they banned just a guy who just been teaching about Black history. We understand. So I'm not worried about that. That's why I have so many accounts myself, guys. I'm not worried about the TikTok algorithm. I am here. You don't have to see nobody being lynched. This whole story's on it. I'm not here to convince racist white people. Understand something. We're not here to convince racist white people. You can go to Fox News and go listen to that dumb shit. But lynching is a preferred tool of white supremacy. It's been a tool of terror for the longest. Ever since black people left and quit fucking working for free, they've been trying to get our ass back in them plantations. We're not going back. That's why America is still not. Of course you're racist. If you got to say you're not racist, you're racist. Congratulations. Right? Only hit dogs will holler. Only hit dogs will holler. I am not proving nothing to you. There's plenty of technology out here. All you got to do is go look up the latest girl who got lynched. in DC, or not in DC, and fucking out there in Memphis, or fucking not Memphis, but damn Mississippi again. Tasha Fortune is her name. If you want to look her up, Tasha Fortune. Matter of fact, hold on. I'm pretty sure I got her picture. Let me pull this shit up. You know, young, beautiful black woman lynched. Right there. Her. 29-year-old Tasha Fortune. Now, everyone else, y'all see me hold my hand up, but on TikTok, it shows a little picture. They got some cool ass stuff they can do like that. But this is her. Lynched. The fire department had to cut her down out of a tree. We call that lynching. We call that lynching. And fun fact, black people do not lynch themselves in America. Black people do not lynch themselves in the United States of America. That is a white demon thing. Just so you understand what we're talking about. This is what white people do because you want to vote, because you want to have a life where you're just not being bothered. This is what they do when you're not staying militant and you're not out here voting. You got to be out here voting. You got to be politically ready. And exactly, you got to stay strapped, man. Because they don't have, listen, so once again, I don't care about segregation. I don't want to be around demons. So I'm cool with segregation. But what we go segregate is the actual money. Black people had no problem with segregation. The problem was white people steal the money. They do not share the money with even though poor people pay taxes, that shit ain't going back into the poor neighborhoods. Go look in there. Hey, how about we separate you from the live? Let's do that shit. Because I don't argue with racist ass bots with no face. Moderator, show his ass to the door. Separate that shit. Arguing back and forth with y'all demons, man. And eat a dick up on your way out. Y'all got me fucked up, man. We not dealing with that shit, man. I'm not going back and forth with no racist ass demons. I don't give a shit. I do not care what racist white people think. I'm not here for you. I'm here for the people who voted for Kamala Harris. If you on this live stream, my message is for those who was down for black liberation, who voted for Kamala Harris, who voted for the right side of history. Straight up. That is what we're here for. And we're going to continue to fight for that. We're going to continue to fight for a better world. Because look at the shit world we got now. Look at the shit we got in the White House now, man. If it ain't one thing, it's another. Right? Painting fucking statues gold and all this other bullshit as they steal our future away. Open corruption. Straight crime lord. Donald Trump is the most criminal president in American history. Has stolen more money than all other presidents combined. And they still let him do more dirt. This is why, as black people, understand, we did not pray our way out of slavery. We did not vote our way out of slavery, even though I'm telling you to absolutely vote. But you've got to be ready to match and exceed these demons' energy when they come for you. And they're coming for you. They want you to be living in fear. They want you to be scared that you may be next. There isn't a rope in this country that can go around my neck. Not one. There is not a rope made in America that can fit around my neck. Period. I don't care what them demons scream. I don't care what they say they go do, what threats they go do. This black man ain't getting lynched in this timeline. It ain't happening. Not without the gates of hell being opened up. Not without me trying to break Nat Turner's record. And this is precisely why you should be ready. This is precisely why every black man, woman, and child need to be armed. When you heavily armed, police don't beat you in the streets. When you heavily armed in numbers, they won't tear gas you. When you heavily armed in numbers, they won't pepper spray you or hit you upside the head with a billy club. When you heavily armed in numbers, they go fall back and watch. Why? Because their lives are on the line too. If you're unarmed, they'll shoot at you 90 times and hit you 60. If you're heavily armed, they're going to show some restraint because they understand once one person start firing, everybody start firing. That's the difference. Look at one kid in Uvalde who did all that destruction. He held back all these so-called trained slave catchers, locked their ass down because he was willing to die for what he believed in. And they was not. They was performative cowards that let children get smoked. And I'm supposed to respect this institution of slave catching? I do not. That's why they so quick to end black life. Because they cowards, man. That's why. They do that bullshit because society keep letting them get away with it. Now, I don't want to get in here. Listen, guys, I'm only going to be in here for like an hour because, like I said, I got my sons down here. This is actually my whole gaming room. We're out here doing it. We could talk about that, and we are going to have segments. This Friday, I'm going to bring people up on the panel. We're going to talk about all of this. We're going to talk about the real history of this country. We're going to talk about the laws that's constantly being broken. They expect us to follow the rules when people at the top are doing so much dirt. Hey, you know, Rodney Hitton, man, he damn sure came back, though. Shout out to his father. He wasn't playing that shit, right? And he came back. He came back with a vengeance. If you touch one of mine, I'm touching yours. That should be the standard. Look, guys, it's going to be a bumpy ride. Stay vigilant. Stay ready. Understand the worst is probably yet to come. Get yourselves out there. Get as many people to vote as possible. It's your only way out of this shit without serious bloodshed. And I'm not telling you, it may be serious bloodshed anyway, because that's just where we're going, unfortunately. When you put people in charge who want to be dictators, you get dictators. So this is why we got to be ready to defend our way of life. And remember, whether it takes 10 months or 10 years, we must be absolutely relentless in our fight against the white delusion of white supremacy. I'll see you guys right here tomorrow. Sometime around 8-ish. We're still trying to lock this thing down, get this program set up, but we will see you guys then. Power to the people.
1713. On the ship Henrietta Marie, chained Africans crossed the Atlantic with no room to stand. Many died before land appeared. Their bodies were thrown into the ocean behind the ship. The ocean saw.
Listen to this closely.
This happened to your bloodline.
This was planned for profit.
Your ancestors still survived it.
The water remembers your ancestors' names. Millions crossed the Atlantic in chains. Many never touched land alive. You are here because they refuse to die quietly.
Yeah. From the 1500s to the 1800s, European ships crossed West Africa, Portugal, Britain, Spain, France, and the Netherlands built this trade. They bought and kidnapped African people for labor in the Americas. Historians estimate that 10 to 12 million Africans survived the crossing. Millions more died before reaching shore. People were taken from Angola, Senegal, Ghana, Nigeria, and Congo. Many were marched hundreds of miles to slave ports and chains. At ports like Elmina, Castle, and Bonny, families were separated forever. The crossing became known as the Middle Passage. Ships packed human beings below deck like cargo. Some ships held more than 400 people at once. The British ship Brooks became famous for how tightly people were packed. Men, women, and children were chained together for weeks or months. Many could not sit upright. Disease spread fast in the heat below deck. Dysentery, fever, dehydration, and starvation killed thousands. Women were sexually abused by crew members during the voyage. Some captive jumped into the ocean rather than live in slavery in 1781. The crew of the slave ship zoned through more than 130 Africans into the sea for insurance money. The owners went to court demanding payment for the murdered people. Olaudah Equiano wrote about the smell, the chains, and the screaming in his 1789 book. Your ancestors lived through organized torture, created for money.
Do not look away from this history.
They counted black bodies as cargo.
But your ancestors kept fighting. The water remembers your ancestors' names. Millions crossed the Atlantic in chains. Oh, many never touched land alive. You are here because they refused to die quietly.
Yeah. The Middle Passage helped build the economies of Europe and America. Sugar plantations in the Caribbean depended on enslaved labor. Cotton plantations in the American South depended on enslaved labor. Banks, shipping companies, and insurance firms made fortunes from slavery. Cities like Liverpool and Bristol grew rich from slave voyages in the United States. Slavery expanded after the invention of the cotton gin in 1793. By 1860, nearly 4 million enslaved black people lived in America. Congress banned the importation of enslaved Africans in 1808. But slavery continued inside the country. Children were still sold away from parents at auctions. Black families were still whipped, branded, and controlled by force.